So, Steph, what do you think happens when we die?
No, an interesting question. Because either you just die, that's it, there's nothing else, it's like a cat or a dog, you bury it and it's gone. Either that's the end of our human existence, or, here's what I'd like to believe, that because energy can no longer be created or destroyed, that we die and become part of the greater cosmos. At least I hope that's what happens. And maybe we learn what on earth we were ever here for. What about you?
Well, yeah, big question. And as we get closer to the end of our lives, we start to ponder that quite a bit. And you know, that what you said about energy cannot be created nor destroyed, there's a kind of, I saw a clip with Neil deGrasse Tyson recently, and he said that every breath in the world that's ever been taken still exists in our air. So when you think of that, our spirit never goes away. It stays in this universe forever. He said that we are actually right now breathing air that Leonardo da Vinci breathed,
Jesus Christ?
Shakespeare, Einstein, and if you even believe in Jesus, what Jesus breathed. And so it's kind of an interesting concept, and it's like, do you believe in an afterlife?
Well, how I think is, you might just as well, because you and I are never going to know the answer in this realm. And so I would prefer to be a believer. I would prefer to believe that you're absolutely right, that we are part of the spirit that created this world, that created this universe, and that it will go on, just not in a physical form, not in the meat suit that we're in.
Yeah. And the only thing we have right now that is relative or important in our life is time. Nothing else really matters.
No.
And material things don't matter. Money doesn't matter. It's how we spend our precious time with the amount of time we have left. And the responsibility or the idea, the commitment to enjoy that and make that have as much value as it can to ourselves and others. And so it's interesting, I'm going on a long drive today back to Calgary, and you have lots of windshield time to think about these things.
Yeah, true.
And I really enjoy that aspect of thinking about it. Not sure I'll ever have an answer, but I want to appreciate that and the gratitude that we have.
Yeah, I think you can choose to be a believer. It's a choice, in my opinion, on how you think the afterlife might be. And like I say, I choose to be a believer.
On what?
That life goes on after our physical body ends.
So what does it do? What does that mean?
Yeah, well, when I use the word cosmos, I don't exactly know what that means, except that it's the greater out there. And but does a lizard, when he dies, joins the cosmos, or a dog or a cat or a bird? Or is it just human beings because of our greater consciousness? That's the question, I think. So are we special in the universe because of our consciousness and our superior mental abilities compared to the other animals that live here on Earth?
Yeah. Well, I remember I never did meet my dad, and I remember making a little tribute to him, or a little cairn or something in the mountains. And I went and visited one time. It was really cold in the winter. It was like 40 below, and I built this great big fire, and I wanted just to to come closer to him and talk to him. And it was the most amazing thing. I believe I saw a vision of him standing by the fire. Couldn't talk to him. He's a long ways away, maybe 20 meters or so. But I saw him. And
Wow.
I said, well, yeah, thanks for coming in visiting. And he listened to me, possibly. And then it was gone. And I don't know if I imagined it because I wanted to, or if it actually happened. But then coming back to that whole concept of energy not ever disappearing or can't be recreated starts to make you scratch your head. And why are we here?
Oh, that's a big question. We've grappled with that question since time immemorial. I don't know. I think that there's a lot of, I'll call them metaphysicists, who conjecture about multi-universes, and that we've actually, you and I are living separate lives in a different multi-universe, going through different experiences, and that we somehow chose this one. I don't know if that's woo-woo, but these are questions I'm not sure you and I are equipped to answer, but we're certainly equipped to wonder about it.
Yeah, no kidding. And, once you start thinking about it, how we were created by an egg and a sperm, and the miraculous aspect of that give us this opportunity to sit on a bench overlooking a lake.
Yeah.
And our body's functioning well enough for us to live. And that insanely a miraculous aspect of life. It's really unbelievable, really. And
it really is.
Words used a lot, but it really is.
Yeah. I think you're absolutely right. Like, why you and why me? Out of all of the thousands of egg and sperm and everything, why you? Why me? Why did we get created in this body? And what kind of grand design was it? Or was there a grand design? I can't think it was just happenstance. Some weird third rock from the sun happened to, sort of create life and create us and create 747s, create AI, create all of the things that are happening right now. Happenstance? Don't know about that one.
Yeah, really. And then, man, what are we here for, really? Do you know?
Well, the short biological answer is to replicate ourselves, obviously, have kids, and that instinct is as strong as us as any other animal in the world, any other insect, fly. We're imbued with that instinct to recreate ourselves, but for what flippin' reason? I don't know.
And another thing I think about, how we were decided, or it was decided, that we were going to be born in a country with abundance.
Right.
Where we could have been born in a country with people that are living less fortunate circumstances and are trying to eke out a living every day of their lives, and with big tragedies and, everything is hard in their lives. And here we're gifted with this wonderful experience. And then it's our obligation to enjoy that, but to give back and to participate in it in a sensitive and kind way. And I used the word abundance before, but to appreciate what we have isn't, it's really amazing.
Well, you talk about living in this country where freedom we take as for granted. You and I have never been through a war. We've lived in a stable environment our whole entire lives, which, I don't know, sort of leads me to the idea that there may be multiverses. Maybe there's a you and I in a country that's war-torn. And some spiritual teachers would say that we choose this when we come into this life form, But why would you choose any other way but this? So that's a question. Why would you choose to maybe be reborn in a body that isn't as healthy, that's frail, with parents who don't love you, whether there's abuse? So that's kind of a disconnect with me.
And, yeah, and we all go through lessons in life, hard as they may be in times. And what are we learning from that? How come we have to go through those lessons? And why are they presented to us? And we do get through them, and we do learn, I guess. And every time there is a challenge in life, we come out of the other side stronger, apparently. And
Do we?
benefit from that experience. But how is that all decided upon us? Like, the psychology of that is really quite perplexing.
But then once having learned those lessons, then you just die? So what was that all about? Okay, I learned my lesson. Either let's keep on learning lessons, because the alternative is to cease to exist. So that's when I'm thinking there has to be some sort of grand design, because we're aware. If we weren't aware, everything changes. You're just an animal. But we are aware.
Yeah. And I was fortunate enough to see some old friends of mine the last couple of days that I hadn't seen for a long time. They're dear buddies to me. And that connection is still there and relevant and as important. I was going to say more important, but no, as important as it was the days we were really together and spent a lot of time together. That was 50 years ago.
When you were boys?
When we were boys. And that connection, that's wonderful that we have that somewhere in our psyche. We need to be connected to our friends and our community to give us wholeness, or to give us a sense of why we're here, which is still, interestingly, and I kind of feel sometimes almost selfish for all the things I have.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
To give back.
Yeah.
But we're blessed. And I appreciate that. I respect that.
Yeah,